Well, Marcel joins us now to talk about a challenging problem facing us in record proportions in the United States. The U.S. bishops have issued a statement on the pastoral response to those addicted to pornography. Marcel, thanks so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're a busy husband, dad, speaker, and campus minister. You do a lot of things. What made you decide to write the book Cleansed?
Well, the only reason I did it is because I felt like God wanted me to, because I never wanted to grow up to be an expert on this topic. I don't think anybody ever does. But in working in campus ministry for 14 years now, I've had college students throughout the years who would come to me and ask for help, and I didn't know what to do. And so through my own research and working with others and learning how to serve in a pastoral context, the college students who were coming to me with these issues, that's the reason why I thought it needed to be written more than anything, more than really wanting to write it.
Mm-hmm. Marcel, you know, this month we're featuring fathers and focusing on fatherhood. What would you say is the challenge that people face in terms of pornography addiction, how that can really impede their being good fathers and really fulfilling their role?
Well, thank you for the question. First of all, I'm a father of 5 kids, 2 of them in high school. So I would say this, is that the issue of pornography really has impacted, I think, every family at some level. Because it's not a question now of if your child will see it, and it's a question of when they will see it and how will they react once they do. And I know that from my own perspective as a father, it necessitates that I'm going to have conversations ongoing with all of my children about sexuality and about the culture and about what's good for them and what's not, and how to wade through it all. And as a father, I have to take that seriously. Otherwise, if I don't have those conversations, the world will. And then they're going to be taught in one way or the other about who they are and what's good for them, either by me or somebody else. So I want to be the one that's taking the lead.
Well, good for you. I mean, I have 3 children, so I know exactly what you're saying. You know, anyone who's Googled anything, as innocent as it might be, it's always amazing to me what might pop up. It can be terrible. Can you share how serious the addiction to pornography is in not just this country, but the world today, because it's easily accessed? Absolutely.
And if you look at the young people in the ages I work with, most exposures occur around the age of 9 years old now. Stop and think about that, 9 years old. We're talking elementary school level. And the rates of those who have seen it between 8 and 16 years old are about 90% of kids. And most of them stumble over it while Googling something for homework. They're trying to do their schoolwork, and they go and they Google something and they stumble across it. But the addiction rates, once you reach the level of college-age students, and that's 18 to 24 or so, there's about 80 to 90% of young men regularly look at it, and about 1/3 of young women. So it's a huge issue. So we have to do something. And it is the most addictive substance on earth right now because it goes right to the brain. It affects your brain at a level I think most people just aren't aware of.
However, pornography is sometimes described as a victimless crime. What's your opinion on that, Marcel?
Oh, there's lots of victims. And the first victim, of course, are those that produce it, because we know that the rates of alcohol and drug addiction, abuse, suicide, and everything else of those who are producing these videos and pictures are off the charts. So it starts even with the production. But once it gets to the level of those who are using, each person is impacted individually, but also anybody who's an addict, anybody who's regularly using something that's not healthy for them, it's going to impact their family, their coworkers, their friends. And I've seen families destroyed of my own friends that are broken apart by divorce and fatherless homes, and families that are just torn asunder because they don't know what to do with this issue, and it's so deep and affecting to so many people.
So what's the answer, Marcel? Is it education? Is it legislation? How do we solve this?
You know, that's a good question. And I would say this, Jay, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But first of all, I think the answer is found in our church's teachings about who you are. And I think that's really where the attack starts from, is who are you and what's your value and what's life about? And I think we really have to get to a yes about sexuality in the proper way in marriage. And really, I think it's a combination of different approaches. You can't just have one thing that's going to solve the issue.
Marcel, you've written a Catholic guide to freedom from porn. It's called Cleansed, forward by Bishop Richard Malone, a good friend of ours here at Catholic TV. This is an important resource for people to really help them to deal with an addiction, or with those who perhaps they know or are in their homes that are struggling with it. What's in this book that can really help people?
Well, first of all, for parents, I would say there's a lot of advice about how to talk to your kids, preventative measures to keep it out of your house, because that's what most of us want to do, is we want to keep it out of our house. But then also, what do you do if somebody is looking at it? What about yourself? What if you have a problem, and how do you deal with that? So it's written for a broad audience of people who might be impacted by this issue of pornography. And what do you do so you don't lose hope? Because there is hope always in Jesus Christ and in our Lord. And in the church's teachings, I think there's a lot of hope, and that's really what I was hoping to get out of that book for other people, is to provide that as a source.
Marcel, where can people learn more about your speaking calendar and also about this book and what you write?
Thank you. You can find out more at my website at marcellejeune.com.
Very easy. Well, thanks so much for being with us today and writing this very important book. As a dad with kids who are a little bit younger, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Have a good day now.
Marcel, God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.